Assalamu alaikum friends, hope you all are well. Friends, what an amazing event. After 1400 years, two companions of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The graves were dug up. Their bodies are not yet decomposed. To all Muslim, non-Muslim brothers and sisters today, please watch this video. So let's start the video. The story begins with a dream. One night, Hazrat Huzaifa radi Allahu ta'ala anhu is the king of Iraq by dream, said to Faisal, "Remove us from our present position to tree grease, be buried somewhere else, because water has started collecting in my grave," and Jabir radi Allahu dampness appeared in the grave of Ta'ala anhu. But due to the heavy busyness of the state work, the king instructed to dream during the day, forget it altogether. When the king fell asleep the next night, he had the same dream again. But that day too, he forgot the word in his dream. On the third night, Hazrat Huzaifatul Yaman, R.A., Mufti Azam of Iraq, appeared at the opportunity and gave the same instructions, and told him that I have been telling the king for the past 2 nights. After a while, he forgot about it. Now your responsibility is to convey my instructions to him as soon as possible, moving us. As soon as the morning dawned, Mufti called Prime Minister Noor Asaid. He said, "I am coming to you with a special need. Come out a little later if you need anything." When met with Noor, Mufti told him the whole story of the dream. Noor immediately arranged for Mufti Sahib to meet with the king. 3. He was also present there. After hearing Mufti Sahib's story, the king said that yes, I have had this dream twice in a row, so he instructed me every night. I had no idea what I was seeing. "You are welcome. Did now tell me, what should we do in this situation?" Mufti Sahib said. He ordered to move immediately. "Therefore, I think it is our duty to obey the urgent orders." King Faisal said, "I am saying that the matter is very sensitive. Cautiously, let's first examine the real river water Chui coming to the grave." Mufti Sahib agreed to this proposal of the king, became Badshah then, in the name of Chief Engineer of Public Works Department. He issued a farman to this effect, that Karb digs 2 techs 20 feet apart. "Let's check, dry grease water is coming here. The work is very early in the afternoon, report to me within." After receiving the decree, people did not start their day's work. But the water is far away. Words, the soil that is brought up from deep. There was no sign of moisture. Mufti Sahib them all day long was with. He was a little disappointed after seeing everything with his own eyes. In short, a negative report was presented to the king. That night, Huzaifatul Yaman, R.A., urged the king again and said, "Arrange for us to move soon, because water started to accumulate in my grave and moisture appeared in Jabir's grave." As the king had the report of the expert, he thought, it is nothing more than a dream. So he remained inactive in the dream. Huzaifatul Yaman the next night, R.A., again appeared to Mufti Sahib and said, "I keep telling you to transfer us, but you are so inactive, why are you?" The next morning he reached the king and again he had a dream. He listened to the instructions. Now the king said to Mufti Sahib in a tone of annoyance, "You tell me, what am I? Can do. You yourself were present on the ground. The report of the experts has come before you. According to their report, it is water. Not even moisture on the ground was seen in the distance. So don't bother me and don't bother yourself." Mufti Sahib said, "I know what is in the report. But even then, you and I are being commanded again and again. So I say no matter what, give up what you do." The king said, "Okay, then you move first. Give the fatwa." Mufti Sahib sat there and issued a fatwa regarding the relocation of the graves of Sahabir'S. Soon after, in the newspapers and magazines with details and fatwas, the king's decree was printed that the next Eid day of sacrifice is Zohar. After the prayer, the grave of the respected companion of the beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam will be dug. After the newspaper news was printed and circulated throughout Iraq, immediately, waves of joy play out. Apart from that, several international news agencies, including Reuters, reported the news globally spread out. It was Hajj season. A large number of Muslims from around the world were gathered in the city of Mecca. They are with the king. He sent the application, "We are also interested in seeing the face of the great companions. Please postpone the date for some more days." Meanwhile, Iran, Turkey, Lebanon, Palestine, Hejaz, Bulgaria, in the name of King Faisal, from North Africa, Russia, India, Prabhuti state. Numerous telegrams started coming. Same Abden to all, we are at the funeral of respected Sahaba Kiram Dua. I want to participate. Please postpone the date by a few more days. Sahara on one side, the request of the Muslim world, on the other hand, the urge to act quickly. The problem is, if there is water in the grave, then it is honorable to delay, companions will suffer. So on the advice of Mufti Sahab, a deep 10 feet away from the river from the grave, a farman was issued by digging a hole and throwing clothes there. At the request of the Muslim world, and waiting for Abdin. This work was done after another 10 days will be small slums in Salman Park. Within days of the announcement, people become people. The place in the direction of Zaulus is another Baghdad. Become not only that. That historical field of Malain was also filled with tents. Official. Apart from Langar Khana, there are panthshalas everywhere. Hotels and cafes are built. At this time, the Iraqi government imposed various tariffs, including customs. The conditions were withdrawn. There was no such condition regarding the MK passport visa. King is clear. He informed that the foreign visitors are only from their respective countries. Will actually proceed with the permit. Still, the number of visitors was there more because they have already come to Makkah Sharif. Government delegations from Egypt and Turkey also arrived on this occasion. Companions. They also resorted to government arrangements to salute Kiram. The official delegation of the People's Republic of Turkey was led by Mustafa Kemal, a high-ranking minister of Pasha. The Egyptian delegation was led by then Prince Shah Farouk. In that group, there were also a large number of alims and ministers. In short, the good fortune of seeing companions is written on the forehead of Koshansi Bandad. By then, they had reached Salman Park. According to an accepted estimate, the number of visitors was 5 lakhs, and people of every country and nationality also existed among them. At last the day has come, for which millions of wise and virtuous men he was eagerly waiting. That day was Monday, 12 o'clock times in the presence of millions of people. Time saw 2 graves dug up. After digging the grave, Hazrat Huzaifatul Yaman, R.A., was really shocked. Some moisture has appeared in its grave, but the distance from the tomb to the river Dajla was about 2 furlongs. Of different countries, state representatives, members of Parliament of Iraq, and Hazrat Huzaifa Yaman, R.A., was the first in the presence of King Faisal. The grave was opened. With the help of a crane, his holy body was lifted from the grave in such a way that Mubarak's body automatically fits into Khairan's head. He arrived on a stretcher. The stretcher is then taken apart on a crane. Shah Farouk lifted him up on his shoulders. Mubarak's body was placed in a coffin. Then likewise, Hazrat Jaber's body was also brought up. The corpses of ordinary people rot in the grave not in 2 or 4 days, but in 1 or 2 months. However, during the dead bodies of the respected companions, not 2 eras but 2 centuries. Not only years but hundreds of years have passed, but not only Mubarak's body can be seen. Rather, the car, Mobar, also did not experience any change. Even their shrouds were in such a normal state that the body, seeing Mubarak, no one could have thought that. The corpses seemed to be 1300 years old. He died before 3 o'clock. The most important thing is that their eyes were open. And it was in the eyes, such an earthly light that if many people keep their eyes open, they are in front of that incomparable light. He could not hold his eyes. Big doctors of the world were present on the spot. They see this scene, be amazed. A German ophthalmologist of international repute with great interest. He was looking at everything. Such was the effect of this scene that the holy body was placed inside 2 coffins. Immediately he grabbed Mufti Sahab's clothes and said, "This is a greater proof for the truth of your Islam and the Quran. What else could happen to the world? Give me your hand. And listen, from now on, I am a Muslim." As soon as he said this, in the hands of Mufti Sahib by shouting with emotion, recitation of Ami Bani La ilaha illallahu Muhammadur Rasulullah from Tawheed Risalat, he became a Muslim and took refuge in the cool shade of Islam. In essence, the body is a replica of a mirror made of glass, placed inside a beautiful coffin. Then the crowd's eyes are shrouded from the blessed with their bright faces is removed. Iraqi soldiers display helmets as usual and they fire cannons. Then immediately the crowd perform their prayers. Then the scholars lifted the coffin on both shoulders. Different. After some distance, the representatives of the country, and finally Shah Faisal, were arrested. At the time, a German television film production company was very successful carries out. Their action is a great favor for many visitors. They are on 4 steel envelopes 20 feet above the 2 graves, 30 feet long, and 20 feet wide. Television envelope on 4 sides. 4 skins are placed near the roof. As the coffins were being moved to the new burial site, Iraq, the bigness degenerate into outward manifestations of their reverence, and from above it rains Jules. Carrying both coffins several times on the way have to stop, after 4 long hours with utmost devotional respect. Salman arrives at the park. Shah Faisal was the first to give a guard of honor. Then Pratidivaga offered a bunch of flowers. Finally, the lucky ones from the stretcher, Mubarak bodies, in 2 coffins. After leaving, they lowered the coffins into 2 newly built cemeteries. Thus the roar of the cannon and the jubilation of the military bugles and the shouts of the crowd. These living martyrs of Islam are buried in the lap of the earth through takbir. Many of the large crowd who were non-Muslims started the incident. The Muslims continued to read the kalima with shouts. Moreover, after the incident of this day, an unprecedented situation fell in Baghdad. Numerous Judeo-Christian citizens are ashamed of their own wrongdoings. He repented and took shelter under the cool shade of Islam. Iman is Islam. The number of takers was so high that determining their numbers was not an easy task. 2 new graves engraved on white paper, the full story is written in brief. Even after the incident, thousands come from different parts of the world to see the 2 graves. The influx of thousands of people continues to this day.